if I told you this is Assetto Corsa, the game that came out back in 2014. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's a boy Prayers Nunchucks. Yeah, this video has a lot of hot takes. Yeah, so this video was inspired by Mr. Viper Unknown. The brother commented on the last video on YouTube, and then this was his comment, right? So the brother was basically replying to one of the statements that I made and said Assetto Corsa will be the biggest rival of Assetto Corsa Evo. And so he says, trust me, it won't rival Ac Evo. And so I figured, let me make a video to try and explain my point and my side to see why I think it will. Okay, so on the graphics department, yeah, we can give it to Assetto Corsa Evo for now. However, I don't think Assetto Corsa Evo will be able to beat Assetto Corsa on the graphics or any department for that matter, and here's why. Yeah, so with Assetto Corsa Evo, it's just Kunos working on the game. This, however, is thousands, and I mean thousands of people working on this game. It's to a point whereby you have people who literally made it their career to mod the damn thing. You know what I mean? And so you have people who made it like a business to mod the game. Look at RSS Studios, for example, Racing Sim Studios, for example. You know what I mean? And so you can't tell me that, you know, a team of few people can win against like over 1,000 of people, because you must remember this. Yeah, while Kunos, you know, has the rights to the game and all of that, but opening it to the modding community, modding community, it also says that, you know, you have a lot of talented individuals who are just not working for Kunos, who gets to work on the game, and they work directly with the community to answer the community's questions and wishes. You know what I mean? And so this game in its own is just unstoppable. Let's talk about the graphics again. You know, I can give it to Kunos for now on the graphics, but let's look at what Peter Boost did on the game. Yeah, and look at the evolution of Pure from Sol to Pure. Look at the drastic change. You can't tell me this doesn't look clean, bro. This looks crazy, bro. And this is just Pure, and of course few PP filters and few settings messed with, but this is clean. This is looking proper, bro. You can't tell me that Kunos can. Well, they can, technically they can, but I don't think they're beating this anytime soon. And so any level or any type of graphic look that they come with, the modders are just gonna redo it and do it better. Yeah, that's the graphics department done. For now, let's give it to Evo, but you can't tell me that this doesn't look good. Yeah, you can't. You just can't. You just can't. You know what I mean? And so anyway, for the graphics department, let's give it to Evo. Now let's talk about the sound side of things. Again, the car doesn't sound good. It doesn't really matter. You know, with these modders, somebody somewhere is probably working on a proper sound for whatever car that doesn't sound great. And I'll give you an example with the McLaren 720S. Would you believe me if I told you Assetto Corsa 720S Evo McLaren is the best sounding and the closest sounding to the real thing? Don't believe me? Don't take my word for it. It's fine. Check out James Bolden new video. Is Assetto Corsa close to the real thing? You know, check out his video where he's doing a real life comparison of the 720S made by RSS Studios and the real life footage of him driving the damn car. Just out of this world. Yeah, that's my second point. But anyway, that is a minor thing that I'm talking about. You know, you have your content manager, you have of course your custom shaders page, and you have all of that. Guys, Assetto Corsa is just unstoppable. now it gets to the most interesting part. Any game that you can think of, any game, and I will prove this later in the video, any game that you can think of and say, you know, can beat Assetto Corsa, would you believe me if I tell you we can take the best parts of that game and bring them to Assetto Corsa? Easy. You know what I mean? And so, like, while I agree that, you know, Assetto Corsa Evo is dope, I just think you just sleeping on the possibilities of what Assetto Corsa can do with the modding community. And also, I need to bring your attention to something, which is in Content Manager. How many of you knew that there were so many modes? And I'll also bring in the Assetto Corsa Rally thing. You know, when they announced that they're making Assetto Corsa Rally, or they're releasing Assetto Corsa Rally, I just laughed. And the reason I laughed is, you know, we've been having a rally mode in Content Manager for Assetto Corsa for over 2 years, and it drove like crazy. Like it drove proper. It's to a point whereby I stopped playing your WRCs. I stopped playing that rally just because Assetto Corsa has that mode and it's on point. Again, you can't tell me that Assetto Corsa won't unrival Eve. Like, I do get where you're coming from, my brother, but I think on this one, I think Assetto Corsa is just gonna give Assetto Corsa Evo serious hiding, you know, and more because this game is continually worked on by over 1,000 people. You know, everybody somewhere is working on something. Like, look at the game, how big it is. Assetto Corsa Evo just announced that they're gonna, you know, bring in the free room later this year. But what if I was to tell you that even after they release the free room, in like 3 or 4 months time, that free room will be in Assetto Corsa and will be even better. And considering the fact that now we can walk out of the car and we can do like all of that crazy stuff, bro, the sky is just the limit, bro. The sky is just the limit. With Kunos, they have an objective, they have to make profit, they have to work within a certain scope and meet certain requirements. And, you know, the game, they can't push it as hard as they want to. With modders, again, the sky is the limit. They can just do whatever they want. You get? And so that's like which am I on third or fourth point here? But yeah, you get the point. You catch my drift there. Now I'm gonna introduce you to something even crazier. Remember when I said you can bring in whatever game and bring its best part into this game? Let's talk about Gran Turismo. Let's talk about Assetto Corsa Evo. Remember when they announced Assetto Corsa Evo, one of the things that they talked about was the career mode, the ability to, you know, buy cars, drive around and go to shops and all of that stuff. And you can modify your car, and the car, the way you modify it, it will affect the performance of the car and racing. What if I was to tell you Assetto Corsa did that about 3 or 4 years back? Yes, it's a Gran Turismo kind of feature, but Assetto Corsa did it 3 or 4 years back, and I would even dare say that Kunos is copying what the modding community did. Because on this, here's the thing: you can, for one, buy a car. Well, let me not start by buying a car. You can have a career mode in Assetto Corsa, a more advanced one, and this is how it works. You start the new career. It starts you off kind of like Need for Speed in a sense. Remember Need for Speed Most Wanted? You get arrested, then you get out, you have a bit of money, you have to buy your first car. It does the same thing in career mode. You have a bit of money, you need to buy a car that's gonna kickstart your career. Now the thing is, you can't buy a brand new car. One, because you don't have the experience needed. 2, you don't have enough money, so you are left with a used car market. And this is also where things get even more interesting. In the used car market, you go and buy a car. If your car has high mileage on it, brother, best believe that even the performance is compromised. Yeah. And so you need to maintain the car, you need to do the service on the car, you need to do all that good stuff for your car to run proper. Now, I'm not 100% sure about this part, but I read somewhere that it's to a point whereby if that then you keep on crashing and all of that stuff, you have to spend money to fix the game, kind of like real racing track. Remember on real racing, if you crashed your car, you got into accidents and all of that stuff, you had to go and repair the car before the next race, you know, and you had to pay with whatever credits that you made. And so it has something similar in a sense, you know what I mean? And so it's a lot that, you know, can be done, and there's just a lot. And also to add, you know, to the career thing, any mod, it doesn't matter whether or not it's a track or it's a car, as long as you have the mod installed in Content Manager. What if I was to tell you can even drive that? It creates like a race discipline based on those cars. You know, in your career mode, you can have doing circuits and doing all of that stuff, and then you can have street racing. Bro, you can have street racing in other games tracks, your Gran Turismo tracks, your Grid 2 or Grid Legends tracks. You can have that. You know what I mean? And so it's just the possibilities are limitless. Yeah, and this is what we're talking about, the career mode here. When you think that, okay, I'm doing circuits, I'm doing streets, you get to do rally. You can do rally. You can do rally stages. You can do drifting stages in career mode, and it adds towards your money, towards your progress. And then the money, you can use it to buy cars, you can use it to do whatever. You know what I mean? And so I understand that Assetto Corsa Evo is doing that, and then I understand that Gran Turismo is doing that. But the point that I'm trying to drive home is, you know, Gran Turismo did this thing. Assetto Corsa modding community brought it to Assetto Corsa, and that's the best part of the game. You like something on a different game, you don't have it, you can bring it here easy. Just mod it. You know what I mean? And so even with the Assetto Corsa Evo career thingy, you know, it's for now, of course, it's still in early access. Actually, let me not make a comment on it because it's still in early access. But for now, I feel like Assetto Corsa Evo's thing is just too incomplete. Career mode is just too incomplete, and so I'm gonna leave it because it's still in early access. But yeah, that's the other point that I wanted to drive. Yeah, anything that is the best in other games, you can bring it here. Now let's talk a bit about open world, right? We have no Hazy, which I can agree it's a bit shitty for Shitoku and all of that stuff, but it's what keeps people interested. You know what I mean? You can traffic drift, you can, you know, do all of that nice stuff in open world. Of course, sometimes it gets boring because you're going in one direction and all of that stuff. But now, imagine this. Yeah, somebody built, and I'm not gonna promote the brother on this, and I'm not gonna say, you know, the names. What if I was to tell you, see how Forza Horizon 5 is? Somebody already did that with Assetto Corsa. You can play it like that online, and it's kind of like not Assetto Corsa. It's kind of like Forza Horizon. What if I told you somebody already did that? Yeah, best believe it. You know what I mean? It's just there's just a lot that this game brings into the table that no any other game is able to do just yet, or will be able to do, unless they allow modders to work on the game. And so for me, Assetto Corsa will rival Assetto Corsa Evo easy. And for like, I'll even be bold and say it will beat the shit out of Assetto Corsa Evo. Why also I'm saying that? Let's look at the force feedback as well. Most people will agree with me on this. Two games that have the best force feedback is Assetto Corsa with, you know, Content Manager, and AMS2. Well, also R Factor, but you get the point, bro. Assetto Corsa Evo when it comes to force feedback, and at first I didn't agree, but now I do. It's just not as detailed. It's just not as good as like the original Assetto Corsa, and I don't think they can be thrown original Assetto Corsa anytime soon when it comes to force feedback. The force feedback on Assetto Corsa is just like next level, you know. And then also to add the fact that they're giving you control of it, you know what I mean. And then there's also a thing also that I wanted to touch base on, yeah. Post-processing filters. I should have spoken about this in graphics, but post-processing filters can give you any look that you want. Say, okay, I like the how Assetto Corsa looks in terms of like the ladt. Maybe let me use ladt as I'm a videographer and photographer. Ladt, yeah. It gives you something like a ladt in a sense. That's a post-processing filter. Okay, you like the look, the tint, or whatever the name is on Assetto Corsa Evo, you can have it here. Somebody already did it. Probably you're gonna have to pay for Patreon, but then anyway, you get the point, you know. So anyway, back to force feedback and all the other things that Assetto Corsa is offering that Evo won't be able to touch on. Again, you have your force feedback, which is best. You have like an amazing control over everything. There's also you know, the fact that, you know, there's also a fact that, you know, you can tune in your force feedback for individual cars. Like if you don't like a force feedback on a certain car, you can dial it in for every car. You can dial what you want the car to feel like, you know what I mean. And so there's just a lot I can't cover because the video is already too long, you know, and I feel like at this point I'm making, you know, unnecessary points. But I think Assetto Corsa guys will rival Assetto Corsa Evo. And then there's also that side of optimization, yeah. Assetto Corsa Evo is meant mostly for mid-range to high-end PCs. This you can play on, you know, crappy PC, and you add the fact that the good looks, you can get them on a medium range looking PC. You know what I mean? You can just like dial every setting to a high or maximum on Assetto Corsa as compared to Evo, where you put things on low. This concludes this video, but thank you so much for watching. And if you disagree and agree, please leave a comment. I would genuinely like to have, you know, other perspectives and other, you know, opinions, you know, whether we agree and disagree. I genuinely don't mind. I love to have the discussions. I love to talk, and obviously I will defend my side, and I will also love if you could defend your side, and we have like a proper full-blown conversations. If you can respond with videos, that will also be awesome. I will post them on my channel as well. But yeah, man, it's an interesting thing to do, you know, to talk and have conversations, whether we agree and disagree, healthy arguments and disagreements, you know what I mean. And also I would like to get to a point whereby I'm doing this for a living. So if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot. If you can engage with the videos, thank you so much. Have a lovely one. I'm out.